Every year, when the golden leaves begin to fall, the salmon embark on an incredible journey from the vast ocean. They return to the freshwater rivers where they were born, but this is not a peaceful stroll. On a journey spanning hundreds of kilometers, they must face unimaginable challenges, from swift currents and roaring waterfalls, to lurking predators. With extraordinary perseverance and strength, the salmon overcome every obstacle to reach their spawning grounds. But why must the salmon endure such a dangerous and arduous journey just to reproduce? Let's explore this dramatic story of life and death, the story of these warriors of the ocean, as the final days of autumn approach. The sea begins to ripple, signaling the beginning of a harsh and brutal journey. Thousands of salmon, with unwavering determination, leave the vast ocean and head toward the freshwater rivers where they were born. This journey is not simply a return, it is a fierce battle for survival, where every moment is a test of life or death. They only have one chance in their lifetime to spawn. They pour all their energy, strength, and will into this final act before they die. This is a one-time reproductive strategy, where their lives are traded for the continuation of their species. It's a special reproductive mechanism, adopted by certain species. They reproduce only once in their lifetime. And after completing the spawning process, they often die shortly after. Imagine the life of a Pacific salmon. From birth, they begin their journey in small streams, hatching from tiny eggs. Then, they migrate to the vast ocean, growing up in a hazardous and challenging environment. For years in the ocean, they accumulate energy, preparing for one crucial mission, reproduction. When spawning season arrives, an internal command drives them back to the place where they were born. The journey home is no easy stroll, it is a grueling and dangerous battle. The salmon must swim hundreds of miles upstream, dodging fierce predators, and facing towering waterfalls. Each salmon carries a life-or-death mission. Knowing this is their last chance to contribute to the survival of their kind, ahead lies raging water, roaring falls, and countless predators. The salmon swim against the current, pushed back by the powerful flow, but with extraordinary strength, and an intense instinct to survive, they propel themselves forward, never backing down. The image of a salmon leaping from the water, to overcome mighty waterfalls, is a symbol of relentless determination. Nothing can stop them. But that is not all. On this journey, each salmon must face deadly predators, from massive brown bears waiting by the riverbank, to raptors circling in the sky. Every leap could be their last. Yet the salmon push onward, swimming through each meter of water, overcoming every obstacle, with unshakable determination. This journey lasts for weeks. Each salmon carries a sacred mission, to return to its birthplace, to spawn, and to ensure the survival of the next generation. As the salmon near the river where they were born, their shiny silver skin begins to turn a vibrant reddish-brown. This is not just a color change. It is a signal of maturity, and readiness for a sacred duty. The new color makes them stand out in the water, a powerful visual sign that they are prepared for the spawning battle. For female salmon, the transformation is even more striking. Their bellies swell with thousands of eggs, each egg a potential life for the next generation. Their bulky but powerful bodies symbolize their careful preparation and deep devotion to protecting new life. Their bodies become a precious treasure chest, holding the future of the salmon. Male salmon also undergo dramatic changes. Their jaws develop sharp, hook-like structures, natural weapons for intense combat. These hooks are not just for show, they are highly effective tools, used to fight off rivals. These battles are fierce and unrelenting. Every bite, every strike, is a testament to their strength, and their will to protect their lineage. These biological changes are more than surface level. They reflect deep adaptations to freshwater environments. Special hormonal changes, particularly the rise of cortisone levels, prepare their bodies for the trials ahead, and signal that the time to spawn is near. When the salmon finally reach the spawning site, they are exhausted, but their task is not yet complete. The female salmon begin to dig nests in the gravel, by beating their tails against the riverbed, to create small hollows for their eggs. Each nest can hold thousands of eggs. Then, the male salmon swims by to fertilize them. It is a deeply emotional and beautiful sight, but also marks the beginning of their end. After spawning, the salmon's bodies begin to weaken rapidly. They have spent all their energy on the journey and the act of reproduction. Their organs begin to shut down, their muscles waste away, and their flesh begins to decay. Eventually, they die, their bodies left on the riverbanks, or carried away by the current. During this grueling and dangerous process, the salmon face an invisible yet deadly enemy, the hormone cortisol. When cortisol levels rise too high, it severely weakens the salmon's immune system, making them vulnerable to disease and parasites, ultimately leading to death. Cortisol is known as the stress hormone. It plays a vital role in helping salmon survive extreme conditions during their return journey. When faced with raging waters, towering waterfalls, and dangerous predators, cortisol is produced to provide immediate energy and enhance endurance. But the prolonged and continuous rise of cortisol comes at a cost. As cortisol levels remain high, the salmon's immune system starts to deteriorate. The immune system, their natural defense against disease and parasites, becomes suppressed and ineffective. This leaves the salmon defenseless against infections and vulnerable to parasitic attacks. Like a fortress breached by tiny invaders, the damage doesn't stop there. Cortisol also causes direct harm to internal organs and tissues. The body begins to break down rapidly. A devastating attack from within. Unable to fight back, the salmon gradually lose strength and become too weak to go on. In this context, the salmon's death is not just the end of a biological cycle, it is the inevitable result of ultimate sacrifice. They poured all their strength and energy into reproduction, and though cortisol initially helped them overcome obstacles, in the end, it became the very force that led them to death. However, the death of the salmon is not meaningless. They have fulfilled a noble mission, ensuring life and the continuation of their species. Moreover, their decaying bodies become a rich source of nutrients for the freshwater ecosystem. As they decompose, they release nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus into the rivers. These nutrients feed algae and aquatic plants. Trees along the riverbanks absorb them and grow lush, creating ideal habitats for many other animals. The salmon carcasses also serve as food for numerous creatures. Insects, invertebrates, and small fish consume the remains, which in turn feed larger fish, birds, and mammals. This food chain not only sustains other wildlife, but also maintains ecological balance in the area. The nutrients from the salmon not only help vegetation grow, but also nourish the next generation of salmon. Insects that feed on salmon remains become food for young salmon fry, helping them grow strong and prepare for their journey to the sea. This is a perfect cycle, where the death of one generation marks the beginning of life for the next. Back to the eggs, they are protected by layers of gravel and sand, shielding them from strong currents and predators. Over the next 2 to 3 months, the embryos inside the eggs gradually develop. The first stage of development involves the formation of internal organs, then the fins and eyes begin to appear, and the tiny salmon bodies become more distinct. During this time, the eggs absorb oxygen from the flowing water through their membranes, while nutrients from the yolk nourish the embryo. Once fully developed and ready to hatch, the salmon fry use a special structure, called an egg tooth, to break through the eggshell. The newborn salmon, or alevins, still carry a yolk sac on their bellies. This yolk sac provides essential nutrients during the first few weeks, helping them survive and grow, until they can search for food on their own. The alevins continue to live among the gravel, to hide from predators and strong currents, until they grow larger and enter the fry stage. At this stage, they start to swim freely, searching for food and continuing their development. The fry stage lasts several months, after which the young salmon continue to grow and mature. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please click the share button below, to share it with your friends and family on Facebook or elsewhere. And finally,